Hello everyone, welcome back to SwitchUp and to what I think is a pretty decent video, all things considered, as Nintendo continue to ramp up their sales before the big Black Fridays land. Congratulations to the winner of the free game this week, your name's on the screen right now, and remember we will be giving away 2 Switch OLEDs over the Christmas period, so make sure your notifications are on. Man, did you see the patch video I did for GTA Remastered Trilogy? It was absolutely savage. Rockstar took it back off Grove Street Games, removed their name from it, and just completely patched it up. Behind the scenes, Grove Street actually unfollowed them on Twitter. But I think, you know, Rockstar have got to do what they got to do, haven't they? That's like their big brand. Anyway, I digress. If you want to save yourself 5% extra, use our code SwitchUp over at switchup.gg. What are the best games on sale this week? Well, my name's Mark Walker. Welcome back to SwitchUp. Now let's find out. Let's kick off with the deepest ever discount on the Oregon Trail. This is very much like the Banner Saga series. You have to build up your own party and your group as you move across the country, and there are a load of different classes as well. It plays out, like I say, a bit like Banner Saga, where there's random events. There are 15 different journeys to undertake, and 7 quests that are inspired by historical events. Randomly, they've tossed in a few different sim life aspects as well, so there's like a massive fishing game in it, with 80 different species of fish to catch. And if you like these kind of slow-paced, I don't even really know what to class this and Banner Saga as. They're like story-driven, choose-your-own-adventure games, I guess. But you can suffer loads of different mishaps, from broken bones to dysentery, and pretty much everything in between. I enjoyed it, but I wouldn't be paying full price. At half price though, not bad at all. That sale goes on until December the 3rd. Next up, just in the EU regions, we've got the cheapest ever price on CONSCRIPT. That's down 33%, and I think that sale goes on until November the 25th actually. While it might not look like it, this is actually a survival horror game from a very small indie team. It features a few different difficulty modes, but the storytelling is absolutely brutal. Obviously being set within a World War I trench, you don't expect sunshine and rainbows, but it's amazing how scary they made it within this setting. So yeah, if you like the kind of resi style, do consider this one. You've always got limited ammo. The trenches themselves are quite intricate, and they introduce massive tank-like soldiers, and you can get on machine guns and things, but it still manages to have the puzzles that you would expect to find in this genre. Really good. I think developer Catchweight did a great job. It's published by Team 17, so it gives you an idea. They only really go for quality, and it will take about 12 to 15 hours to finish. That's got a download size of 1.6 gigs. Next up then, we've got RABI-RIBI. Now with a name like this, it shouldn't be nearly as good as it is, but I'm pretty sure I reviewed this back in the day. It's down half price at the moment, which is easily the cheapest it's ever been, and it's an action RPG from the side perspective, featuring a bunny girl. Not what you'd usually class me to, recommend, but it's quality. It's just one of those games that's absolutely rammed with enjoyable action. There's like 40 different boss battles in there, if I remember correctly. I didn't really get on board with the story too much, I have to say. I just enjoyed those action sequences, and it's got a cracking little soundtrack. But one of the pros on the eShop is just the word bunny. I don't know if that counts as a pro. As I say, that one's 50% off, something a little bit different. That sale goes on until December the 5th. Wild Bastards has its cheapest ever price. You might remember Inglorious Bastards, absolutely cracking game. Wild takes things in a different direction. There are 13 different outlaws to unlock, and you will have to unlock them. A run basically starts with you choosing one, and you build up a gang, and you kind of go down to planets, moving between these nodes, and then carrying out first-person missions with a variety of different things you have to do, including boss fights and stuff. It's a classic roguelite, but in a very different perspective, and there's actually quite a bit of tactics to it as well. You get certain power-ups, unique weapons, and it really does have that one more run feel to it. It didn't quite capture the magic of the first game in my opinion, but as it starts to drop down to its cheapest ever price, as we see here, it's definitely much more appealing. The sale for Wild Bastards goes on until November the 17th. One genre that I always try to highlight when I can, if there's a good game on sale, is strategy. Now, Railway Empire is one such title. That's 65% off at the moment, and this sees you basically pioneering railways across America, building up a variety of different stations, improving your trains. You can get super nerdy with this one and actually ride round on them as well, but it's just very satisfying. It also gets quite competitive because other railway companies open up, and they'll be trying to build around you and stuff, and there are different characters. It kind of adds a bit bit of a story element into the proceedings and the big campaign. I just very much was surprised that it went in that direction and happy about it because it made it much more enjoyable. I do have a full review of this one, so if you're not sure, go check it out. It's not a looker. Like, it doesn't look great, but gameplay wise it's cracking. That's 65% off until December the 11th. Next up then we have Sea of Stars. We've actually been working on a massive, almost like re-review of this one because they've just updated it with a massive DLC that adds a load of free content. So it's like gameplay changes, up to 3-player local co-op has been introduced, and it is really good the way they've designed it, even kind of integrating it into combat so that you each get your say with those time-based bonus attack powers, and then using things like your grapple outside of combat to move around. There's quite a bit of platforming in Sea of Stars, and it does suit having those like 2 or 3 player in co-op. Definitely a really good time to pick it up. This is the cheapest it's ever been, 33% off until November 22nd. It was basically my game of the year back in 2023, and if you don't own it already, yeah, get it. If you already own it, download the free update. Mortal Kombat was terrible when it launched. It really was. The performance was a joke. You all saw the memes. You saw my 57 million patched up episodes on it, or at least some of you did. But they've had, I think it's something like 19 major updates now. It's a different game from when it launched. It looks so much better. The netcode's improved. The visuals are significantly better. It's never going to look amazing on Switch 1 at least. But at 60% off, this is the cheapest it's ever been. And it's definitely worth that now. If you're not sure, go check out one of my patched up videos on it. It just, yeah, as I say, looks significantly better, and it is a very good fighting game. That sale goes on until December the 1st. If you're after a decent beat 'em up, then consider River City Girls 2. That's also down to its cheapest price, 50% off, and that's actually by quite some way. We really enjoyed this one. We played this one together in co-op, Glen and I. There are 6 different playable characters. We felt that the combat was definitely improved over the first game, and we personally enjoyed the fact that you can kind of choose your own route. Some of the stages drag on a little bit too long, and a few of the mechanics, like I think there are shops in there where you purchase things as you go. I don't know if that entirely worked. They'd kind of benefit, I think, from just going back to basics. But as far as a fun beat 'em up with a couple of mates, I think you can do 4-player co-op and 2-player online. It's definitely worth it. That sale goes on until November the 25th. Monster Hunter Rise and Sunbreak Deluxe. This for me is just the game that keeps on giving. I've just introduced Glen to the light bow guns, and I've just upgraded. Like, if you're a Monster Hunter fan, this will make sense. If you're not, then I'm sorry. I've just upgraded the Night Owl bow gun, which is just incredible. It's an absolute beast. And then the next level up, you have to beat a Naga Cougar, like Master rank. And the thing with Monster Hunter, these games, is what you can do is you can choose a monster, and then you can have that quest open to the rest of the world. You enter it and start like whittling away at the enemy, and then before you know it, a load of absolute ninjas have jumped in and they're helping you out. It has such a nice community feel without you ever having to speak to any of these people. The entire Monster Hunter Rise pack here for this price is just insane. If you've been holding off and wondering if it's still populated online as well, yes it is. And if you wondered if you can play single player, you can do the whole thing in solo player, so you don't have to worry about going online if you're not someone that enjoys that. This is 65% off, and it ends December the 1st. The hidden gem then, before we have a look at a couple of very cheap games, that goes to the lovely Gift. Like, it's not a lovely gift, the game's called Gift and it's lovely, which is a gift in a way, isn't it? It all starts out with an old man as he wakes up and finds himself on a luxury cruise ship, but things go a little awry and he finds himself having to escape whilst meeting some unusual characters along the way. What's very cool here is the gameplay. So the ship itself is literally sinking. The tilt and the water level of it are constantly changing, so you're trying to make strategic use of those to help you escape, solving puzzles, meeting these weird characters that kind of remind him of his life. And it does that annoying thing where you're enjoying yourself, happy, and then it tear jerks you with something. You're like, oh man. I think this is hugely underrated. My hidden gem of the week, and it's a gift. My gift to you. Now, unfortunately in the EU that may have already ended, but in the US it goes on until November the 22nd. You can get a physical on PlayAsia, and there's a nice little discount actually down in the description. Happy days. Alright, let's jump to our Savaloys selection. Our Fettkuchs, those lovely, what are they called again? Those German ones that I had. Currywurst, and everyone in between. I need some new Savaloys. Well, not actual Savaloys, but like the food things. I need some nice new things to try. Give me some suggestions. Alright, the first game then, super cheap, it's Anodyne. This is a bit like Donnie Darko meets Zelda. It's 80% off until December the 5th, and I do have a full review. Cracking game. Vaporeon was reviewed by a friend of the channel, and it's a classic style dungeon crawler, but she absolutely loved it. That one's 85% off till November 17th. Ken Follett's Pillars of the Earth is down once again to a ridiculous price, about £1 for this lovely point and click style adventure, based obviously on the Ken Follett novels. Flooded, really enjoyable strategy game where you're trying to, well, essentially survive as the world floods one tile from the edge at a time. Very addictive later on and gets quite challenging. That's 90% off. And Ganryu 2, which got patched up quite a while after launch, but is now very good and well worth it. And again, another that I would class as a hidden gem on Switch. Great game. That's 85% off till November 17th. A bonus game for you, because I prefer the number 16 to 15, and it's Eterna Noctis. That's down 80%. Not quite Savaloy territory at $6, but stupidly good value. Massive game full of non-linear story and side quests, a bit of a mixture of action, adventure, puzzle. I guess a little Metroidvania-y in that way. Metroidvania-y. Wow, my grammar is just fantastic tonight. There's voice acting in there as well, and it has an emotion-inducing soundtrack. That's what they describe it as. I'd just say it's pretty decent. So that's it for this week. I hope you've enjoyed the video. I hope it was useful to you, probably not so useful to your backlogs. I highly recommend going and checking out that GTA patch video. Just can't believe the work they did. It was just crazy. Thanks to all of you that enjoy the content, to our Patreons, our members. Do save yourself some money and give us a little kickback by buying your eShop credit over at switchup.gg. As I've been saying every Sunday, if you want to go check out our hobby channels, head over to Marketech. I really must make another video, but I've been so busy. And Glen's channel, GB Bricks, if you're a Lego fan. All that's left to say is thanks to our Patreons and members. And for all things Switch, all the time, keep it Switch up. Cheers, guys. See ya!